We have, of course, Parag Thakkar and Mr. S.P. Tulsian with us, Ashwini Gujral as well. Now Mayuresh Joshi also joins in to discuss the last few minutes in the market, last 15 minutes in the market. Mayuresh, good afternoon to you. What's interesting you? The market seems to be in the grip of some power stocks doing very well. That's one set. Any of those stocks you like?
Afternoon, Lata. Again, I think the capex recovery in the power sector is going to be very, very prominent with the kind of reforms the government has initiated. Now, these reforms are implemented in the right direction over the next few quarters. A lot of the power companies are going to benefit, but clearly I think what we're liking at this point of time, probably within the sector itself, are companies like Power Grid and NTPC. The regulated model, the fixed ROE model, is something that interests us a lot, with expected capacities going up over the next couple of years. Our own take is the earnings growth should be quite significant for both these companies, and again I think valuation is not too demanding at this point of time.
Okay. Parag, United Breweries is up close to about 4%. What's your view on the stock? Do you believe that Heineken will be able to get majority control in United Breweries?
So let me tell you that we don't have formal coverage on the stock, but whatever I have understood about this company is that Heineken already owns 42.3% stake in the company, and around 16% of UB Group shares are pledged. So 16% of the total equity and 48% of what he had. So, you know, if this bank shares are, if Heineken is able to buy them, you know, their stake will go to 58%. So better management control will come to them. Plus, I think in December quarter, if you see, the results were very good actually. Revenues were up around 11%. You know, EBITDA margins improved by around 400 bips to 16%. So already that effect has started to come of a better corporate governance, better management. And plus, it remains a hugely underpenetrated market. India as a country consumes just 1.8 liters per person per year, you know, while the global average is around 30. So, you know, it remains a huge potential company like United Spirit was, you know, and with management control coming in their hands, I think the re-rating is due. Although the stock is very expensive at around 25 times EV/EBITDA, and PE multiple wise it is at around 50 times. But I think if this is happening, and you know, what can be the better time for Heineken? This is a great time to do this deal. So in my view, but we don't have coverage on this stock. I'm just saying whatever I've read about this company. So I think it looks interesting.
Okay. Well, Ashwini, the metal stocks continue to do well. They are obviously the best gainers in this month. Is there anything you will go home with in terms of long positions that is carry over for tomorrow?
See, JSW Steel is the strongest metal stock and probably was down in the morning. So that can be carried. The next target here is about 1355. Also, you know, Tata Steel, Vedanta, all of them have gone through some sort of correction before making these highs of the day. So Tata Steel, Vedanta, Hindalco, all of these stocks can be bought.
Okay, and the other set of stocks you gave us, or rather one stock you gave us, I think if I remember right, was HDIL. Real estate stocks, actually DLF has done very well today. Is there a view on DLF technically for carryover?
DLF is breaking out of its 200-day moving average now. So easily, you know, 130, 135 is possible here. Again, you know, some sort of rate cut play. So HDIL, DLF, all of these realty stocks could pick up from here. Today has been a good day for real estate overall. So some sort of momentum has already started.
Mr. Tulsian, you like any of the realty stocks at all for a longer period?
I like many of them, in fact, you know, maybe suppose if I say that maybe Marathon Next Gen, you know, that looks good. Because the kind of properties which they have been holding and the kind of developments under the projects under development, those things are looking good. Then if you come on the Prestige Estate, after having corrected so much, I think it has corrected by about 60-70 rupees in this last maybe couple of months, that looks good. Maybe in fact if I go by this stock, you know, which is not much talked of, is a DB Realty. And that is also, you know, the kind of execution which they have been, you know, going ahead with all their projects in Mumbai, whether you talk their Prabhadevi projects or maybe Bandra Kurla or maybe near Sahar airports and all that. So that is that stock is looking good. So, you know, these are the few companies which are seen as good realty play. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, on Reliance Industries, I believe there is a Bernstein report where they've increased the target price on Reliance Industries by 17% to $12.90 on deep sea gas reform. And Bernstein's research is also very highly regarded by many investors in the street. So that is one positive news for Reliance Industries. But Mayuresh, on the pharmaceutical pack, one, Indoco Remedies, did you have a look at that? And the 12% up move that we're looking at. And secondly, on Dr. Reddy's, which is under pressure, perhaps on increased competition for Valside generic. Where do you stand on it?
So again, positive developments happening for Indico, and clearly if you look at Dr. Reddy's, with competition intensifying for Valkite, the kind of expected sales that it used, or it rather was expected to garner from the exclusivity, I think that it can have some amount of impact even going forward. So I think FY17 numbers will be pruned to a certain extent. However, if you look at the larger picture, you've already seen calibrated sales happening in Venezuela. You're probably seeing calibrated sales across the PSAI segment. But the American markets have held up pretty well. The European markets have held up pretty well in terms of their top line growth, as well as the Indian markets. So a strong NDA pipeline, it's got a good combination of FTFs, para 4s, that should hold the company in good stead. And our own take is a 15% top line growth is possible over the next couple of years. The 17.5% earnings growth is possible over the next years. And again, valuations have become very, very attractive at this point of time. So I think we've maintained a positive and optimistic view on Dr. Reddy's from a long-term perspective.
Okay, well, the Nifty's climb is now remarkable. It's climbed 0.25% to 7723. So looks like it'll close at the highest point of the day, close higher than yesterday's high. Markets have definitely made a very powerful upswing. HDFC was one stock that definitely contributed in the last hour or so, but so has Bosch, TCS, Reliance now. Actually, Reliance moving even stronger, 1051. Technically, where is it headed, Ashwini?
We're talking about
Reliance.
Well, Reliance is a strong stock, and 1080, this time when we fell from 1080, we didn't really go back to those 800 kind of zones. In fact, we turned from 880 while the market made several new lows. So chances are 1080, once that gets taken out, you're looking for at least a 300 point move, 1280, 1300 over the longer run. But 1080 is the next target.
Parag, Maruti, would you bet on Vitara Brezza and the kind of bookings that they've seen in the first 15 days, 20,000?
Yeah, so basically Maruti remains a longer term structural story, no doubt about it. Only the point is that it had rallied a lot, and a lot of margin improvement came from yen depreciation, and now that yen has appreciated a bit, it looks little bit difficult to achieve the numbers, but definitely from a longer term point of view it remains a good buy. But as I told you, we remain most bullish on CV cycle, that is Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland and the auto component suppliers, but definitely Maruti is a good portfolio long term holding, no doubt about it.
Okay. Mayuresh, anything that you're identifying from the mid-cap space for your portfolio clients, or any clients indeed?
Again, Lata, it's going to be the same themes that we're trying to work out with. So the EPC plays is something that we still believe, with the kind of allocation that has happened in the budget, specifically towards the roads and highway sector, 57,800 crores year mark. That's going to be a huge boost for a lot of EPC players. With the road minister also saying that a lot of the blocked and the stopped projects, or the stalled projects rather, coming through over the next few months and quarters, you're probably going to see expected heightened activities coming on that front. So EPC as a theme is clearly what we are liking at this juncture. Stocks like KNR Construction, in our opinion, should do well in terms of what their earnings are expected to pan out. The balance sheet is quite healthy, the order book is quite healthy, and that should augur well for the stock. Similarly, I think if you're talking about how a lot of these consumer durable companies can perform, our own take is a lot of the air conditioning companies should do pretty well over the next few quarters as well. With summer season coming around, I think the volume growth should be quite significant for a lot of these air conditioning companies. So to name a few, I think Blue Star is something that we continue to remain very, very optimistic about. The margin improvement should be evident on the EBITDA front, close to 7% in my opinion over the next couple of years. And again, the earnings should show drastic improvement happening, and with cash influx coming through from Blue Star Infotech, even that should support balance sheet growth.
Mr. Tulsian, when we spoke to the management of McLeod Russell, they told us that tea prices have gone up by 15 to 20% in the Kolkata, Guwahati and Siliguri auctions. What have you made of this increase that we've seen in tea stocks today?
See, Rima, actually all the tea prices have been firming up, and in fact there is a huge domestic demand, and if you see the tea producers, in fact they are cutting on the exports and selling more in the domestic market because you have a better realization here. But generally if you really see, maybe if I take 3 or 4 names, I don't think that you have any, I won't say that the others, but you don't have a very, what you call confidence, generating on few of these stocks. If I just say maybe McLeod Russell, but if you ask me to take a call on Harrison Malayalam or Jayashree Tea, because Harrison Malayalam, again they have their presence in the rubber plantation also, so you don't get that kind of comfort. But yes, if I just go by a general trend, and actually there has always been a pattern, that whenever the sugar stock starts moving up, even the tea prices starts going up, that's just a coincidence. And since I'm very bullish, I'm highly bullish on the sugar stocks, and I'm saying that because the prices have started hardening, and in fact the domestic demand is very good, and whenever the domestic demand, if the companies are focusing more on the domestic market to have a better realization, obviously they don't have any liking for that, they must meet the exports and all kind of things, I'm quite positive.
So even sugar, where you're very, very bullish, Renuka has already rallied 30% since March, Dhampur is up 50%, we can buy even at current levels?
See, Rima, I've recommended, in fact if you have referred this 25-30%, Dwarikesh sugar and our sugar, I've given 2 weeks back, and both the stocks have risen 55%, and they are the highest.
Current levels?
Yes, that's what I'm coming, that I'm not keeping a positive stance on except for UP by Sugar Mill, and that's what I've been saying, that in fact I've said that couple of weeks back also, that the Dalmia Bharat sugar, take for instance Q4, the sequential QOQ, are going to post 75% increase in the operating profit. Maybe Triveni Sugar will post a 90% increase in the operating profit. Balrampur Chini will post a 75% increase in the operating profit. I'm talking sequentially, and probably we will see FY17 posting the record bottom line for all or many of these sugar companies. So yes, and in spite of factoring that next year the sugar prices, cane prices in October are going to get raised because of the elections by at least from 280 to 310. So taking all this into account, I think still the best days for the sugar has to come.
That's good to hear. I just wanted a couple of chart checks on the mid-cap cement stocks. Sanghi Industries is the one that's eye-catching today. Ashwini, that stock, Sanghi Industries?
See, cement overall is doing very well, and as I said in the morning, that probably its movement will surprise people, because cement generally does not move like that. I think Sanghi Industries 75, 76 is a key zone. Once that's taken, we should probably look at levels of about 100.
Okay. I think the street heard what Mr. Tulsian had to say about Balrampur Chini and the 75% increase in sequential operating profits. Stock is surged, and Triveni Engineering too is climbing higher.
Cadilla has slipped in trade. I think there's some news coming in on Cadilla. We'll just play that out again for you. That's, Sushma Swaraj says, okay, no, this is something else. We are waiting for the Cadilla news flash.
I think Cadilla is just an alert. There's no news on it. It's just an alert because of the way the stock has collapsed, and on very large volumes. Stock is now down close to about 8%. Sushma Swaraj has indicated that one lady crew member of Jet Airways has been injured in the Brussels explosions.
Well, there isn't anything on Cadilla that's come on the wires just yet, so we'll have to wait and see what went awry in that stock. But for the moment, the markets definitely are going home with decent gains. 7714, not way off their high of 7725 levels, so pretty much closing at the day's high, and the mid caps as well, at least for the record, closing in the green. The bank Nifty has performed along with the Nifty today, and the Sensex, which was a bit of a laggard, has now caught up and is ending like the Nifty with about 0.1, 0.2% in terms of gains. The picture on the advanced declines as well is pretty green. 8 stocks in the green for 7 in the red, so not a bad finish at all, considering that we have put on gains over so many days and broken through so many resistance levels. The 7,500, 7,700 resistance level has quite comprehensively been overtaken for the second day in a row. The important gainers have been, as We have been saying the power stocks, Tata Power, BHEL are the big gainers, probably for different reasons. BHEL for the boost it has got from orders, and CLSA picking up that stock for mention, and Tata Power probably because of the defence procurement policy, but nevertheless those are the two big gainers. Bosch follows with a 4% gain, and then come the entire metal pack, Vedanta, Tata Steel and Hindalco, all three of them going with between 2 and 2.7% in terms of gains. They are of course big gainers for the month as well. They are between like 25 to 30% in terms of gains for the month of March. Bosch has gone home with 4% gains, as I told you, and among the FI favourites, HDFC is showing decent signs of recovery. It's up 1.5%. Reliance, HDFC and TCS were the three boys that actually yanked up the index along with Bosch in the last hour of trading or so. All those three stocks go up with 1% in terms of gains. Sun Pharma, Lupin as well in the green by about 0.9%, and among others HDFC Bank has also helped a bit. Stocks in the red, Dr. Reddy's, because of that competition coming for Valsite and possible reduction of its gains from that product, has pulled down that stock by nearly 4%. ITC is not done too well, 2.5% lower. That has weighed on the index a goodish bit. Adani Ports, Tech Mahindra, HUL, Ambuja Cement, Bharti Airtel, Coal India, Axis Bank, Asian Paints, in no particular order, are the stocks that have lost between 0.7 and 1%. They have weighed on the index, but the mid-caps have definitely had a better day.
Yes, the mid-cap index closes with a gain of about 0.25%, with the advanced decline ratio turning favourable. So close to about 800 stocks in the green for 700 on the losing side. Key gainers include Sanghi Industries, that was up close to about 12%. GIC Housing deserves mention, so that was up nearly about 13% on GIC Housing. Other cement names like Burnpur Cements were active. Kesuram Industries was locked in an upper circuit of about 10%. Tea companies like Jayashree Tea closed out with gains of about 10% odd. Justal, where the buyback got concluded a few days ago, rallied 9% to levels of 700 and plus. VIP surged in the last 1 hour of trade. Real estate names like DLF as well as Prestige Estates were active. Eros International, where the parent company Eros PLC has completed the internal review, was up and about. Syntex Industries, Titan were a couple of the other heavyweights which did well, and in the last 10 minutes of trade, sugar companies also rallied. So Barampur Chini, Dhampur Sugar were up nearly about 3% odd. On the losing side, a big fall seen in Cadilla in the last 1 minute of trade. Post-adjustment, it's ended down nearly 3.9%, but the intraday chart of Cadilla will tell you, and it's fallen on very large volumes as well. So volumes were nearly 2 times the kind of volumes we normally see. Cuts seen in a Torrent Power. Profit booking visible in JM Financial as well as in Persistent Systems, where margins could be under pressure in the coming 2 years. But net, it turned out to be a remarkably resilient session for the markets. The Nifty recovered close to about 70 points from the day's low of 76.44 thereabout to end above the 7,700 mark, and this is despite subdued cues coming in from the global space. Mr. Tulsian, anything that you've heard in Cadilla Health which could explain the sharp fall that we've seen?
See, Reema, very difficult to take a call because you do not know. Because if I just want to take a general say, I would only say that yes, you have some US FDA worry, because I don't think that anyone can give a satisfying answer, whether it is in respect to the rejection or, maybe warning letters. But I won't say that that's the issue here, but something must have happened, So actually, that's what I say, that now pharma is definitely going out of flavor, and in fact one has to curtail the exposure, because we see so much opportunity seen in other sectors where you can make money more having less of the risk and less of the risk and tension.
Well, Parag, you want to leave us with a holy pick?
So so we discussed only mid caps. So within large cap space, we like Kotak Bank. Okay. It is expensive again, but I think the book is absolutely clean. It is just 2% of the system. So whenever management feels that there's an uptick in the economy, they can just accelerate and they can grow at 20% for many years. And plus within Kotak also now you have Kotak AMC, Kotak Insurance. So those pieces will also become very big in the coming years. And with 15% tier 1, there is no need to raise capital and they can still grow for many years. Yeah. So I think one of the best managed banks, although expensive, But I think just looking at we are very near to March quarter results, where a lot of corporate banks will have some sort of issues for NPAs and all that. This looks like a very safe buy.
Well, coming from a subsidiary of a rival bank, that's high praise, I must say. Mayuresh, holy pick?
So again, I think the top-tier IT companies is something that we'll continue to prefer at this point of time. Within the top-tier IT names, our own take is that CL Tech can perform exceedingly well over the next few quarters. Dollar and rupee growth can be in excess of 13%, and valuations are looking extremely attractive. TCV deals, again, the expectation largely is in excess of $1 billion expected to come through. So clearly, I think they are in the right phase at this point of time. Engineering services as a contribution to the overall top line is increasing. That's a high margin business, and if that shows signs of improvement, I think the numbers will be far greater in proportion terms to FY16 on an FY17 basis.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Parag and Mayuresh and Mr. Tulsiar and Ashwini, we will ask you your holy picks tomorrow, of course. You will be with us. We have to take a break.